Los Corresponsales, un programa dedicado a observar la imagen que tiene México fuera de nuestras fronteras. Una conversación con los periodistas extranjeros que todos los días reportan sobre el país en los medios internacionales. El año 2016 nos tiene reservadas más de una sorpresa para los habitantes del planeta. En lo político, habrá, por ejemplo, elecciones presidenciales en los Estados Unidos que van a cambiar el rumbo del liderazgo internacional. En Inglaterra se celebrará un referéndum para determinar si ese país sigue perteneciendo o no a la Unión Europea. Las tensiones en Oriente Medio por la actividad del Estado Islámico podrían empeorar y en América Latina no debe descartarse la renuncia de Dilma Rousseff como presidente de Brasil. Con respecto al tema económico, los profetas hablan de una lenta recuperación. Sin embargo, países como China, que impulsaron antes el crecimiento del globo, no volverán pronto a ser locomotora. Para obtener una rápida mirada sobre las perspectivas del 2016, hoy por la noche hemos invitado a Adam Barnes, de la revista The Economist. Soy Ricardo Rafael y esto es Los Corresponsales. Bienvenidos.
La compañía alemana Germanwings realizaba el trayecto de Barcelona a Düsseldorf.
Y más allá de las largas colas, los consumidores del área metropolitana de Caracas denuncian.
Não resistiu aos tiros que levou no peito e na barriga.
Have you ever wondered what the future holds? In 2016, what will be the moments that bring the world together and the ones that tear it apart? Take a look at the people, the places, and the plans.
We want to create an artificial coastline.
These are some of the stories that will shape the year ahead. 7.3 billion people, 197 nations, one planet. The world in 2016.
Adam, thank you very much for being here at Los Corresponsales.
Thank you for having me.
Talk about next year. We have every year this issue of The Economist talking about perspectives of what we can expect about future. This year, I think you call it Woes, Women and Wins.
Yes.
And first of all, I would like to know why this title for the issue. Of
Woes,
the year.
women and wins. I think, well, the woes and the wins probably
Okay.
is an attempt to balance out what may otherwise be a rather tricky year. If I deal with the women first, there are 4 women who are expected to play, who are going to play big roles next year. 2 of them American. We have Hillary Clinton, who is the odds-on favorite to win the US presidential election. We have Janet Yellen, chairman of the Federal Reserve, who has already just raised interest rates there and is expected to continue raising US interest rates a bit more. We have Angela Merkel, who has just been named Times Person of the Year for 2015 and is going to continue, in all probability, leading to the European response to the migrant crisis from Syria, as well as leading Germany. And we have Dilma Rousseff, president of Brazil, who is going to be fighting off an impeachment charge. So it's a big year for her as well. Woes, sadly, there's the obvious one coming in from the Middle East, the fight against Islamic State, as I said before, the migrant crisis, people, hundreds of thousands, millions even of people leaving Syria, looking for new homes elsewhere. Problems, economic growth is nothing special. China is not doing what it did before. There were some worries about its long-term growth prospects. The emerging market growth numbers are not looking particularly impressive. On the other hand, wins.
Wins. Tell me about the wins. I need wins.
Some wins. Well, they're actually all of a sporting nature. So we have.
So wins in the Olympics.
I'm afraid the wins, and then we have the Rio Olympics, which we've all been looking forward to for 4 years. We have the 50th Super Bowl. I gather from reading about the Super Bowl that this is American football is the second most popular sport in Mexico, so this should be a big event with your readers. For us English people, there's a big cricket tournament, the 2020 World Cup, and there's a continental tournament in Europe, the Euro 2016.
Do you have some wins about politics or economics? Or
politics or
cultural,
economics?
I mean.
With any luck, this time next year, we may have stopped talking about Donald Trump.
Okay. So he can be a winner or a loser?
I think. I think
you want to be.
I think we expect him not to make the final cut. I think it's
okay.
Marco Rubio is probably the man, and I think that's probably a win. I think a Clinton-Rubio.
Okay, we're going to start there. What do you expect about the end of Obama era? What does that mean for you, for The Economist?
That's a good. I suspect, at the risk of coming back to the woes, it's probably going to talk a bit about opportunities missed. Mm-hmm. He came into power on an extraordinary wave of popular acclaim. Yes, we can. 4 years later, I think he still sort of soared back into power again on a second extraordinary wave of acclaim after first 4 years where he hadn't done much. And looking back at what he will have done, healthcare, that's an impressive win, but foreign policy-wise, it's not been great. He hasn't closed Guantanamo as he hoped for. There are domestic worries about gun control. I think it might be about opportunities lost.
Do you buy it was because of Congress, because of Washington politics, or because of him and his team?
It's a bit of both. I think you would probably say possibly a wilier politician would have found a way to work with that Congress.
Clinton, for example?
Clinton, yes.
I'm talking about Bill.
Clinton, Bill, and possibly Hillary.
Okay.
I think she possibly seems more aware of that need. The way I get the impression she has spoken during some of the debates in the last few months.
She is a person, contrast vis-a-vis Obama. Yes. You would say that voters gonna choose now Hillary because she's very different politically from Obama.
He was all about the triumph of hope over experience. Yes, we can. He was a state senator from Illinois. He didn't have the political background that would be expected of a president. She's been First Lady. She's been at Obama's side during much of the first 4 years of his campaign. She knows politics. So she has been a state senator.
She's not a newcomer.
She's not a newcomer. So she knows exactly how it is. She has talked about the number of countries she has visited. She is a familiar figure on the world stage. She's a lot older.
Are you sure it won't be Trump, the runner from the Republican side?
Not at all. I think the odds are that it will be Marco Rubio, but ahead of Donald Trump. The main reason for saying that is, it is extraordinary how Donald Trump has maintained his support up to now. I think we would probably say that as other candidates drop out, the Jeb Bushes, the Chris Christies, their support is more likely to ebb towards the Marco Rubios of this world. So come the day itself, a slightly more sensible candidate might...
Do you expect a change in leadership after U.S. election?
If a Republican wins, yes. If it's Donald Trump, who knows? All bets are off. If it's Hillary Clinton, I still think we can probably expect a slightly more hard-nosed approach to some of the issues, a slightly more hard-nosed approach possibly to Russia and what it is doing in Syria, a slightly more hard-nosed approach to engagement with Islamic State. I know...
Vis-a-vis Mexico.
Vis-a-vis Mexico, again, if it's Donald Trump...
that we have a change.
The wall could be interesting to see. Vis-a-vis Mexico, I think possibly not. I think engagement there seems to me to be increasing sort of
far beyond.
Far beyond, exactly. There's so much cross-border interaction already.
Now we leave my country, we move to yours. What is going on in Great Britain? You have next year a referendum about staying or leaving the UN.
We may have a referendum. In fact, they have to have the referendum by the end of 2017. The expectation is that it will happen next year.
What's going on there? It's going to be 2016 or 2017?
David Cameron has said that before the end of 2017, British people will have a referendum on the stay.
This is the agreement today?
Yes. This is, as we stand, this is what he has said, I suspect. And I think he has to stay by that. There is an expectation that for political reasons, he will have it next year, 2016, because in 2015, he's been re-elected. He's in his honeymoon period.
Okay.
Now is the time to...
What do you expect? Is Great Britain going to leave?
I expect we won't, but I think it's going to be close.
Close.
I mean, I think it has become a lot closer than it might have been for two main reasons. One is that people are quite aware that the British economy is doing very well, thank you. The European economy is not.
Okay.
So there's a slight disconnect there.
Why
are we joined to this area? And secondly, again relating to the migrant crisis, there's a sense in which that I think people are unconfident about control we have over our borders. People are worried about jobs. There's a sense in which people, I think, want to draw their horns in and just focus on being British for a while and not worry too much about people coming in from elsewhere.
That leads me to the migrant crisis. What do you expect about the migrant crisis from Middle East to European countries?
It's difficult to say it's going to get worse. I suspect it's not going to get any better. There seems, sadly, little reason for the numbers to dry up. And for one reason as much as any is that I think a lot of the migrants who have moved into Europe so far are single men. They're going to start bringing their families across with them. The fighting in Syria shows no sign of abating. There's fighting in Yemen. There are problems across the Sahel in northern Africa. So the sources of migrants show no signs of drying up.
More violence after what happened last year?
Yes. Again, it depends.
More bombing,
Vladimir Putin is going to continue his bombing campaign against it is notionally against IS. So far, it seems to be more against other rebel groups who are fighting Bashar al-Assad, the president of Syria. That may not necessarily help to bring the crisis to an earlier close. I mean, what needs to happen first and foremost is for that civil war to end. If we tend to take, in any way possible, take the sting out of that civil war, then you can set about the task of isolating and conceivably neutralizing Islamic State. But that is a big undertaking.
What role do you see Mexico playing next year?
I think in some ways, economically, Mexico is just it will continue as it has done, outperforming, if you like, a country reliant on oil revenues to a pretty major extent. It has done well in the face of a collapsing oil price. Growth is expected to be a bit higher than it has been this year.
Better than last year, at least.
Yes. Yeah, so
the peso going to be
around 3%.
Moving?
Peso is going to drop a little bit. What's up at 17 at the moment. But the point, who knows? I don't know the simple answer about the peso, but it appears not to be pushing through into inflation anyway, which is in some ways more relevant to some Mexicans. So, I mean, interesting. On the world stage, will Mexico take in more Syrian refugees, for example? There has been talk of it, and that would be an interesting step for it to take. Do we have the increasing efforts being made to bring TPP to fruition? I mean, will the Mexican government take a lead on that? There has to be passed by a lot of separate governments. TPP could be a success story by the end of 2016 if it is passed throughout the world.
And then we need to talk about China, but we don't have time today. So I invite you to do it next week.
Okay.
Stay with us, and next Wednesday we talk about China, this sticky superpower, as the Economist call it as well.
I will look forward to that.
Thank you very much. Muchas gracias por habernos permitido conversar esta noche con usted, con nuestro invitado, sobre México visto en esta perspectiva del 2016 y el resto del mundo moviéndose, una serie de sorpresas que vale la pena calcular desde ahora. Nos vemos próxima semana para hablar justamente de China aquí en Los Corresponsales, Canal 13.